Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to revamp a mini bike. Let's take a look. So the mini bike of choice today is the Baja Dirt Bug. I picked this up, I can't remember, a couple years ago probably, somewhere around there. Pretty much as you see here. The only thing I did was I put the chain in a bag here. I don't think I'm going to reuse it anyway. I was just keeping it as a reminder that I need to get it replaced. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. It doesn't seem to be like massively bent or something like that. They did cut off some of the little reflectors that were here, or the little tabs that were there. So I'll have to clean that up. Front tire is not too bad, but I am going to replace it. It's been quite a while and they're showing their age. The rear one is definitely toast. So nothing, get rid of that. But the basics, it all seems there. It didn't come with an engine, so I'm going to have to put a new one. I think the brake lever and the cable might be okay, actually. You know what? Yeah, I don't think that cable is okay. So I'm going to have to change that up or figure something out and get something new there. I do have a new throttle cable. This one's kind of been taken out of its sleeve and kind of a mess. The kill switch is still here. I may actually just keep the one on the engine, keep the handlebars nice and clean. I also may strip off some of this stuff here like that, just to get one less thing. Same there. You know, if I can save a few grams, it might actually help a little bit. Who knows? Let me show you the new parts. So the engine is just an 80cc. It's just a small thing. I wasn't planning on going crazy with this. I literally want to use this to putt around when I go to the drag strip. Or I was thinking of maybe selling it, but I think I might actually just use it at the drag strip. It's your basic engine that you can buy pretty much at Princess Auto or Harbor Freight in the States. Similar, really nothing special to it. I'm really not going to modify it, maybe just paint it, but that's about it. We got new chain, number 35, new clutch, new throttle cable. All this stuff was bought at Princess Auto here. And then new front and rear tire. This is really cool. Nice and clean. Good. All I saw was the word junk and I was like, what? And then junkai or something like that. I'm not sure. Also noticed it said max load 160 pounds. I might be in trouble. I'll still have some fun with it. All right, I'm going to actually just go ahead and take apart the bike and then show you where I'm at from there, see what everything looks like. All right, well, that's all taken care of. It's fully apart. Even went ahead and took apart the engine pieces that I wanted to paint. It's just a pull cord and then the gas tank, super simple. The seat, I either will leave like that or try and find some vinyl somewhere. I'd have to go check that out. I don't know if there's anything local that I can use to swap it out. I mean, it's just stapled. And I'm pretty sure I can do an okay job trying to put that back together. There's the rest of the frame, foot pegs, kickstand. Now I was playing around with the bearings that are in here and I think I'm going to have to change them. So I'm going to have to take a look at that. That's going to be a pain in the butt. But let me see what I can do. Now I still got to take the decals off for me to paint it and make sure that that's good on pretty much everything that I find a decal. And I'm also going to go ahead and grind these pieces off. There's also these pieces that have been cut off here that I want to grind down smooth. And I also got to work on the tires to get all the stuff off of them so that way I can get to the rim and paint that. So I went ahead and took apart the tires. Really wasn't much to it. It's just basically the rear tire with the disc brake and the sprocket. They both look to be in good shape. You know, like there's no major groove that I can feel here when I was touching it with my nail. So that looks good. I'm happy with that. And these one, none of the teeth look to be bent or completely worn out, that it looks really bad. So I'm happy about that. Nothing to do there. I did check the bearings on both tires, the front and rear, and they're bad. So I'm going to have to change that too. And I also managed to break the beads, so that's pretty good. Hopefully I can pop these tires off without too much of an issue. I'm actually just going to go ahead and try that and see what happens. All right, that wasn't too bad. Got the tires off and the bearings. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit more comfortable with these little mini tires, you know, getting them on and off. It's not too bad. Usually I've had a lot of issues trying to remove tires in the past, so that's why I'm kind of hesitant to always do it, but they came off pretty good. And the bearings, well, they're out. They weren't too hard. I just used one of these roll pin punches and shoved it in there and kind of just went around and basically tapped the bearing out, and then that was it. They just popped right out. So here's the two that were in the neck. You can tell there. Pop that out. One of them is passable. The other is very stiff and grungy. It sounds kind of scratchy. These, I could have probably gone a little bit longer on them. They might have just been rubbing on some of this stuff on the inside, but since I just punched them out, I might as well just remove them, replace them, I mean. All right, moving on. So finally went ahead and grinded off those pieces. This one here just had the welds, but that's done on both sides there. And on the back here, I just removed those clips and hangers that were there. Basically these guys right here, they just held on the reflectors. So it just kind of cleans it up. Now I went ahead and used some simple green, basically a concentrate of simple green, and kind of just mixed it with water 50-50. And that's what I used to clean all the stuff that you see here. It's basically just the first part, just to try and get most of the grease and junk off of it. But I do want to go over it with either a wire wheel or one of those kind of burger wheels to remove some of the rust and stuff that you see here. You see it a lot kind of, where is it? Well, not here, and not here. Which one is it? Oh, okay, it is this one. So yeah, you can kind of see like how much rust there is there. It's just basically to strip off the first coat. There's also inside the fenders, like around where the bolt holes were and stuff like that, that I kind of just want to clean up and just make nice. More just an aesthetic look rather than a functional thing. So I also cleaned these, but they were pretty much clean already. Now the next step is to remove all these decals. I want to remove them all. I don't want any of them. No warnings, no nothing. Just basically be the bike as it is. And then hopefully if I can in time, I'll get one of my own decals and throw them on there. Well, a little while later, and I finished taking all the decals off of it. All I did was use a wire wheel, which I just put away. Just a wire wheel and some acetone to clean up the glue residue. In the process, my drill stopped working. Oh, I wonder how that happened. But anyway, for now, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it here. I got to come back to it a little bit later. I want to get those bearings and a couple bolts for the engine just to make sure that that fits okay. And I think that's pretty much it. After this, basically what I'm going to do is go ahead and paint it. I still got to go over them with like a Scotch-Brite or something like that, just to kind of clean up in there, just to get some of the rust off. I did also kind of wire wheel all the other stuff and make sure I got the rust off of there. All right, so I'm going to leave it there for now, but I'll be back. Well, it's been a little while. I've been spraying this on and off for the last few weeks, and then, well, I was unfortunately away for a little bit. Anyway, getting back onto it. I'm going to start by just assembling the frame, try and get all the stuff put on here, put the steering handlebar forks thing in the front, and then pop the wheels on, and then kind of just go from there, piece by piece. There we go. As you can tell, it's not red anymore. It's kind of a gloss gray. I'll get the can and show you in just a minute. I got new bearings for the front steering. Well, there's only steering in the front anyway, not anywhere else. But you know what I'm saying. These are just Amazon specials. Now I gotta figure out a way to jam these in there. I think I have some all thread and some washers that I could use. I'm gonna try that. All right, got a longer than needed thread here. All thread, I should say. I'm just gonna try and push these on. Well, that one seems to be falling in by itself, so that's a good sign. Not too much paint. I mean, I guess you could hammer these in too, but I'd rather make sure that it's, as straight as possible. Knowing me, it'll go in crooked and then I have to spend an hour to pull it out. That's going in pretty good. Once they're kind of just squished in, I'm just going to stop there. I'm not going to go too crazy. Uh-oh, I have no grip now. I'm going to try and get another bolt, or a nut I should say, and tighten off that. Alright, added that extra nut. One of them is almost set. Alright, let's see if this will work. Alright, that worked perfectly. They're all in there, nice and tight. Alright, gotta get the bolts for that, so that way I can put that on there. Alright, magic box of stuff. Here we are. Tis this one. Actually, I think I did forget something. No! Yep, I forgot something. It seemed like that would be right. Let me check it out. Yep, yep, I forgot something. Alright, I gotta punch one of them out, and then I gotta put this in there. Oops! Alright, got my punch here. Hopefully I can get in there. Or not. It seemed to be working the same way as before. Hopefully I didn't damage it. I don't think I did. Seems to be smooth and no marks. Okay. Let's try this again. Alright, round 2. Not sure why I didn't put that spacer on the actual bolt that goes in there. Usually that's what I do, but I guess I fell asleep for a minute. Alright, now I should be able to pop this in there. Get the handlebars and the forks on there. Bit of a tight fit. Doesn't want to go in. I'm guessing it's that piece in the middle. Try not to scratch stuff too, but good luck with that. Alright, should work now. Oh boy, okay, it shows it's been a while since I worked on this thing. I'm getting my spacing wrong. The washer's in the wrong place, or the wrong order I should say. I'll get it, I'll get it. Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. This is when the fun begins, when stuff starts flying around and you're hunting it and then, well, you work in the grass. That's round 2 with that. Just push this through a little bit. Alright, get this one now. Alright, that's through, so that's good. Got to tighten it up. I gotta get my tools. Alright, hunted down my tools. Let's get this cranked on. Alright, well you can tighten it too tight. Ask me how I know. There we go. Perfect. Nice and tight. Moving on, I'm going to try and get the tires on here. I also got to do the bearings on that. Alright, going to do the rear tire, or the rear wheel. Now I think the original bearings for the rear wheels were fine, or at least usable, but I figured since I'm here changing all kinds of stuff anyway, I might as well change the rear bearings too. Now hopefully this will also work for that. The washer is actually just the right size. Let me get that spacer too. That looks like the right one. I think that's the right spacer. Well, there's no other one that would be big enough, so it's got to be it. Alright, hopefully this works. I mean, it should. It did before. Alright, that's all set in. Nice. Hopefully I didn't scuff up the edges too much. Trying to keep it clean, you know, trying to make it nice. A little bit. It's fine. Alright, let me get the tire. Front and rear tire are the same. Nothing special there. Just want to check this. A little bit of dirt in here. It's like a little, either mud got in there or something else. Bug. Made a home. That'll do. Alright, this goes on the brake side. Yeah, not the, yeah, okay. That means that the rotation goes that way. Now, sometimes I have issues with tires. Let's see if I can sort of pop this on here. Or not. Wait, maybe it's the other way. So make sure I have the rotation correct. Yep. Alright, let me get my let me get my tire crowbar thingies. I don't know why, but I always forget that when you work on something, you always need lots of tools. Sounds kind of funny me saying that, I know. Should be obvious. I think I just stripped some paint, but well, maybe not. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Yeah, so as you can tell, really not that good with tires. I feel like I'm going to flip the table if I continue. Oh, the struggle is real. And I hate it. Ugh, crying out loud. All right, let me struggle with this off camera. I am not getting it, and I'm about ready to drop kick it. All right, got the front, excuse me, the rear and the front done. Unfortunately, when you work on the grass, you pinch grass in there too. This was a real struggle, real struggle. I even scratched up the rim here, trying to put that in there. Couldn't help it. Man, I even broke 2 of these handles trying to push them in. See? Ridiculous. I mean, these aren't high-end tools, but I figured they shouldn't break. Anyway, let me go ahead and install these. Pop the little cap on the valve stem here. And then I should have everything here. Should is the key word. And be able to just pop this on. Alright, front one is on. It's not tight yet, but I'm going to leave it like that. I got to get the sprocket and the caliper, not the caliper, but the rotor. I'll pop the sprocket on first. Alright, I'm just going to put some Loctite on all this stuff. Make sure it doesn't move. Well, if I don't make a mess anyway. Now, I'm not tightening these to a specific torque. Just nice and tight. Now, as I always say, don't put all your bolts in and tighten them down one by one. Put them all in. Tighten them. There we go. Tighten them once they're all in. What is going on with this thing? Alright, good enough for who it's for. Do the rotor side. And pretty much the install is the same as the sprocket side. Put in all the bolts first, then snug her down. Also put the cap on the valve stem if I can reach. It's kind of a tight spot. It's like it's made for tiny hands. Red locker, Loctite, whatever you want to call it. Alright, back wheel is done. Time for the install. Okay, I know the axle goes through, so that should be okay. There's a couple of spacers, and I honestly don't remember where they go. I'm going to assume the small one is on the rotor side. And the longer one is on the sprocket. There we go. Alright, starting to look like something. Let me get the kickstand. I think that's what I want to do next. And that way I can get rid of the blocks if it wants to hold up. Alright, got the kickstand. Pop this on. I think I need a spacer, but for now I'm just going to leave it. Bolt is too long. Might be okay. I'm not sure. Let's see how this works. Looks like that should be okay. Hopefully I can pull that on there strong enough. Maybe not. Alright, let's see what happens. And let's get a grip. Oh man, yeah, okay, I got it. Alright, and that works as it should. Alright, let me bring you in just so I can kind of show you. So that's it right there. So as you can see, it does have a spring in there, and you can tell that that bolt's not the original bolt. It does kind of move a little too much, like there's some wiggle room. Can't do it right now because if I do it, everything's just going to shake. But anyway, the best way to put the spring on is to put this end up in first and then pop that one in. But do it in the upright position, and then if it shows, because I can't even see it because the screen is kind of gone. But anyway, that bar right there, I just took some pliers, pulled on it, and then brought it over onto the hook over here. And then as you can see, yeah, it works fine. All right, moving on to fenders. Front, rear. Let's pop the rear on first. Let's find out which way it goes. And that looks about right. Come with rubber kind of washers. Those go in between the fender and the frame. Okay, and it does not want to fit. Haha, great. Yeah, there we go. A little pressure. It found its place. Although I think I should have popped these on before putting the tires in, because it would have certainly made it easier. All right, And another little struggle. Such is life, I think. 15 minutes later, finally get it. Now I'm going to snug these up. That's the rear done. Time to do the front. So again, same as the rear. They got a little washer, rubber washer. Alright, getting there, getting there. A little bit at a time. I don't know about you, but that doesn't look right. It looks kind of funny. I think it's supposed to flip the other way. Yep, still not convinced that that is right either. It looks funny either way. But I'm going to keep it this way. It makes sense to just have a long part in the back. But it does look kind of weird. Oh, oh my goodness. That's like 3 or 4 times now. And I can't find it. Oh, here you are. Jeez. That's why I don't like working on the grass. I need a garage. I really do. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, other parts I can get off the list. Oh yeah, foot pegs. Let's do that. Alright, I got everything. I just need cotter pins. These just slide in. Alright, what size do I need? I never know. These should be okay. Not doing anything special, I'm just bending them and that's it. I'm not even going to trim them. They don't really get in the way anyway, so. Alright. Oh wait, there's a spring that's supposed to go on there. Oh, just threw 2 cotter pins in the garbage. Alright. Gotta figure that out. Oh, nice. Take out a cotter pin, smash the frame. Yeah. This sucks working outside in the grass. Anyway, figured out the spring position. Just gotta feed it in there, hopefully. And that works. Boom, boom. One down, another to go. Alright, correction completed. Beep, boop. What do I have next? I'm still waiting on a couple pieces for the engine. So I'm not going to do anything with that. They just need to be painted, nothing special. I guess I could put that grip on. Let me see how that goes. I'm just going to put some simple green in here just to try and give it something to slide on. It was a little difficult to take off, but well, okay, there we go. Now hopefully when that dries, that'll kind of stick there. Usually people put like an adhesive or something. I don't really care. Alright, I think what I'm going to do for now is just leave it like that. I could install the throttle, but I want the engine to be in there, and that way I can kind of route the wiring, well, not wiring, the pull cable anyway, the throttle cable in a good position, make sure that works without any issues. Also the brake, I'm going to leave that till the engine is in for routing. And then I just got to paint those 2 pieces for the engine, and then I can install the engine, chain, the tensioner, and then for the seat, I want to try and find some material for that. If not, I'll probably just leave it as is. Yeah, anyway, we'll come back on that. Alright, got the parts painted for the engine. Now I got to put that all back together. So just do the pull cord cover and then the gas tank. Something simple, something just to kind of give it some life. Obviously I didn't go crazy in masking it, but still turned out okay. If I didn't mention it already, it's just a small 80cc engine or 79cc. Nothing fancy. It's literally just to putt around. I didn't want to get kind of anything fancy. Alright, there we go. Masking tape is off on everything. Kind of scuffed it, I guess at this point. It's what it is. Just going to start by getting rid of some pieces. Now, pop the gas tank on. Which way does this go in the bike? I'd like to get it so that way it's easy. Easy pull, right? So that's that. Yep, I think that would be good. Trying not to scratch the paint, but you know, stuff happens. I might be using a slightly oversized tool. Should have used a 1/4 inch rather than a 3/8, but oh well. Alright, gas tank. I got to get that little clip going. And can I do it with my hands? No. There we go. Had to orient it. Didn't really know where it went. but there we are. All right, tank is installed, but I should have loosened up the throttle because it's still in its kind of fixed position, or like the position that it holds. Just gotta loosen up. There's a little nut in there that you loosen. It's a nylock. So just loosen enough till that's free. All right, so just loosen it until that throttle. What the? This is weird. There we go. Yeah, so that's all you want, is just for the throttle to come back into its original position by itself through the springs. Here's a better view. So if you take a look here, that's the nut that you want to loosen. And then here is your manual throttle, which we'll attach a cable to later. But you kind of just want it to fall back into its closed position. All right, just gonna pop the cap back on. If you ever try to remove it, there's just this ring inside that holds the chain. Basically, kind of squeeze it together or pull it out, and you can undo the gas cap. And then you just figure out how to squeeze it back in there. You just kind of spiral it in. Voila, she's done. Now, I didn't paint the cap because, well, I figured one less thing. And it's kind of chromish, so figured it would be all right. All right, got all the bolts that go under there. Try and put that in there while scratching everything. I figure if I say it, then I might not scratch it, but, you know, doubtful. Hopefully these aren't too long because it does have kind of a blank hole. There's no, it doesn't go all the way through. I am going to Loctite them. I don't want to do it right now. I just want to make sure everything fits and that it's all in the right place. And then I'll Loctite these 4 bolts. I'm basically just going to shove the engine as far back as I can. It'll give me some adjusting for later on, just in case the chain stretches that much. There is an adjuster on here, a little one that goes here. But, you know, just to try and give a helping hand. All right, now I'm just going to try and set the chain in there. Boy, they really torqued this one down. Jeez. Yeah. There we go. There's a key there, so that's good. I don't want to lose that. Hopefully I didn't just mar it up. Looks like I might have. All right, let me just pop that out and then clean that up. I'm just going to use a file. I kind of scored it when I was using this. I just want to make sure I don't have any problems. All right, filed it. That should do now. Or not. All right, now that should, I think. Never can tell these days. A lot better. Let's get the clutch. Now, which way is this going to swing? Oh, there's a key in this here too, and it looks fixed, so I'm just going to leave it there. I did all that for nothing. What's going on? All right, there we go. Is this correct? Can't quite tell. Yeah, see, if I do it that way, it's way off. It's weird. Is it the engine or is it something else? You know, I'm going to play with this a little bit and then try and figure that out. Well, I wasn't able to get it quite right, but I did just cut the chain down to length, tied it up, so that way I could kind of just play with it. The thing is, this is sticking out too much. The pin on the inside is kind of like manufactured, like I can't like move it or anything. So what I might do is just find a little bit of a die grinder and then cut a little bit off of this side down there and just try and push it a little bit. As you can see here, it favors the inside and it basically binds up when you rotate it, which is not good. Like now it's hard to turn, so that's not good. So yeah, I thought I had some die grinders. I might have them somewhere. Problem is I don't really know where I put them, so I might have to just go buy one and try and figure that out. But I'm just going to continue on and see maybe what else I can do. All right, figured I might as well install the rear brake. Nothing to it, I hope. Should be able to just pop this stuff out and then, or not. I don't know. See if I can pop that off, because I need that to do an adjustment. Alright, so my issue is that I have to transfer this from the old one onto here. It kind of acts as an adjuster, but honestly it's so banged up that it really isn't doing anything more than just acting as like a placeholder. So that way when you pull on it, you're not doing something weird. Alright, let's just try and get that installed. Without trying to lose anything, try and pry this over and not put that on there. Definitely not ideal what I'm doing here. Definitely not. And that is pretty stuck on there. Oh, maybe I can get it off. There we go. Whew. All right, scared myself. We're okay. Alright. I'm just gonna lightly tighten it here just so it stays in place. And then once I start sitting on it and kind of getting a feel for it, I'll do the tightening down. Kind of the same with the wheels. I didn't tighten those down. Just want to make sure everything fits. Run this down here. Doesn't bind anywhere. All right. Let's get the brake caliper. See what we need to do with this. There we go. This is garbage. I know you can't see it, but there's just 2 screws to be put in place. Oh, maybe I did install that spacer incorrectly. Because now the brake caliper doesn't want to sit on there. There's no space. Okay, you know what? Let's take that rear wheel off, fix the spacers, see if that does anything. That might actually solve the chain problem at the same time. So this is what happens when a project sits for too long. You kind of forget where stuff goes, and that's where I'm at. Not a big deal. Just a slight annoyance, obviously. Now you got to do things twice, but kind of normal. Whew. Okay, not too bad. Let's see if the chain works better. Oh my goodness, night and day. So that was my problem. Just needs a little bit of tension and it should be all right. I also got to move this thing here, which is the chain cover. It's a little too close. Bend that back. Trying not to scratch it, but you know. Whew! Solved my problem. Didn't have to do any major work. Thank goodness. At least I didn't cut it or anything and then give myself a bigger problem. Yeah, this is a lot better. Alright, I'm just kind of placing it in there for now. I just want to see how that's going to work. Make sure that everything rotates. I definitely want to Loctite it. Pretty darn good. I might want to put a little bit of grease in there. Okay, let me Loctite that stuff, because that's not going anywhere. Alright, Loctite is in. Just going to tighten the bolts down, and nice and easy. Not going to go crazy. Now the cable, I can run it. I'm going to run it this way. Might need to get a new brake handle or something. So I'm just going to pull tight on the cable, and that is going to be my adjustment because I don't have anything else. Yeah, I shouldn't invest in a new brake. Really awful, I'll be really honest with you. I got to invest in a new one of these just because that piece is just so wonky that there's very little adjustment. Get a couple zip ties in here. Turning is fine. Let me get those zip ties on and then I'll bring you in and show you what I did. Putting most of the slack towards the front, that way it shouldn't bind up when it turns. Always cut your zip ties so that way people know you're a professional. At least that's what they say on other YouTube channels. Now let's go ahead and install the throttle. Alright, I know I have a cable somewhere, I just got to find it. Well, it turned out to be not too bad. Found it pretty easy. Usually what happens is I put something away and then, well, I'll just say a garden gnome or something comes and plays with it and I lose it. Pop that in there. Screw that down if you can. It's because I'm on camera. There. That's your adjuster. I'm just going to push the wire through a little bit. And then there's a guide here. If I can get that in properly. There, I should throw a little grease on there or something. Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. And you just pop that on there. Feed it through. Oops, just make sure you lose all your pieces and stuff like that. And there you go. Pretty simple. Feed through, watch the path, and then connect it to your throttle. I'm actually just going to put that all the way in, which gives me a lot of adjustment for tensioning. And then technically this should just slide right over, and then you should be able to screw it down without too much of an issue. Actually, I almost forgot, let me just put some grease in there. I'm just going to use some white lithium grease. So yeah, like I said, I'm just using some white lithium grease. I'm just spraying it in there, easy peasy. I think if you were doing a lot more off-roading or something like that, I wouldn't use white lithium grease. I would probably use either chain or cable lube. well, I should say cable lube, not chain. And I think some places or some companies also recommend using what's it called, graphite, which is basically just a powdery substance, and it doesn't accumulate anything like dirt and stuff like that. All right, that feels good. Pop this on again. And I caught my glove in there, as per usual. Oh, am I gonna, no, I'm not putting this in the right way. Here, hold on, there we go. I'm just gonna see if I can run it this way. We'll at least get it away from a lot of the moving parts. Kind of like winding it this way just because it literally gets it away from everything. Maybe I'll zip tie it up a little higher here. Just pulling all the way on the throttle cable. I don't like the angle. Because the throttle is the one thing you don't want to stick. Those who know, know. Well, full throttle ain't that much, but we'll give it a try. Alright, get a couple zip ties. Gotta love technology, it just went kaput on me. Anyway, what I was saying is basically the throttle here is done. Everything works, it returns by itself. It's a little sticky, but it'll work fine. I routed the wire basically the best way possible. I wanted it to stay out of the way of the exhaust and all this stuff down here. As you can tell, there's quite a few moving parts, and I just didn't want it binding. Also, the kill switch, I left it down here. There is one that typically goes up here, but I don't know if the one that I have actually works. I guess I could test it, but either way, this is just simplifies everything. It's right on the engine. I don't have to worry about it. Here's the brake caliper and the rotor. My issue was that I didn't put that proper spacer on there. It's slightly larger than the other one. Not a big deal. And that screw there and the one that you can't see under here is, oh, well, right there, are the only two screws that you have to install. Run the cable through on this position, and then you tighten it based on here. Now there is an adjuster, like I said, on the lever, but I think that that's just so broken that I can't quite use it just yet. I'm going to have to replace that. For now, it'll be fine. All right, let's get back onto the chain side. That looks like everything looks good there. There's really not much adjustment that you can do, and it seems to be relatively in the center on the sprockets, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to put the chain adjuster and the guard on. There's a lot of moving parts on here, so just remember where they go. You'll know if you didn't do it. I don't know what's wrong with that spacer, but it ain't right. Alright, let me figure that one out. Alright, I got the tensioner on. I'm not really sure if that's correct. I had to, that little spacer that's in there, I just shrunk it down so that way it would line up a little bit better with the chain. It still seems to bind up a little bit. It's hard to tell anyway. It seems straight, but every so often there's just a little click, and I'm not really quite sure what's up with that. The engine is Loctited and screwed in place. That shouldn't go anywhere. That's good. Everything else is good. I'm just going to pop the chain guard on there. Oh, seems like the threads are kind of screwed up on this one. That should hold. Interesting how this is all wide open, but I don't have anything that goes there. Like I think there should be something here, but that'll do for now. Let me do a cleanup and pop some oil in there. Just do a double check on the nuts and bolts. I got to do the front and rear wheel, and should be able to go for a little test drive after. All right, pop the seat back on. I'm going to do just a very quick little test. Still need to replace this brake. I believe I tightened everything down. I put some oil. You know, ain't much else I can do. So pop the choke on. I got a little bit of gas, maybe, you know, a third of a tank if you want. Let's try this. Nope, that helps if it's on. And choke off. warm up. Well, she runs. Brakes don't work very well. Whoops, I'm a bit out of frame. Let me adjust. Here we are. Well, she runs. She, again, the brakes don't work very well. I gotta, like I said, about 100 times. I gotta change this. Maybe make a few adjustments, but as it is, I'm pretty much gonna leave it that way. She doesn't do very good in uphill, so I think I'm probably either at the weight capacity or over it. So you got to give a little bit of a foot shove to take off sometimes. Now I'll admit something in this build. I didn't do the sanding on this. I kind of just sprayed it. We'll see how it goes. I know that the paint on the gas tank is not gas resistant. So if I were to spill gas on there, I'm just going to leave it. Don't touch it. I might spray some clear coat on it and see how that goes. I didn't find anything usable for the seat at this point. I couldn't find a fabric store near me that was open. The last one that I knew of was closed. I'll have to check around, ask around. I kind of built this thing just as a revamp, just to clean it up and make it look nice. Honestly, I didn't have to paint it or do anything. I could have just slapped it back together and be done with it. It is good looking from about 10 feet. And I'm good with that. I like the gray, but I think that the gray is maybe a bit too much. I forgot to show it, but I just used a trim-clad rust paint. This is a gloss gray, and this is just like an aluminum type color, silver color. Doesn't really have a gloss or finish to it. I didn't want all the same color. I kind of just wanted to offset it with something flashy, and I think I pulled that off. I mean, I could also go back and kind of touch up some of the little nuts and bolts, make them look nice for the paint and all that. But honestly, for what this is and what I'm going to do with it, it doesn't really matter. It's not really something I'm going to use in the dirt and whatnot. This is pretty much something I'm going to try and use on the track at the dragway, just to get around and not have to do my 10, 20, 30, 40,000 steps in a day. But yeah, I think this is a win. So I'm going to leave it at that. Just want to say thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, and take it easy.